Okay, inverse relations. So an inverse relation, the inverse of a relation, remember inverses are like kind of like the opposites. Like when we were talking about logarithms and exponentials, those were inverses of each other. So the inverse of a relation is a relation that reverses another one. Okay, so the inverse of a relation R is written as R to the negative first power. That's how we denote inverse a lot. So if we're given R as 0, -7, -1, 2, -4, -2, and 6, 3, well, that inverse would just be -7, 0, 2, -1, -2, -4, and 3, 6. Okay, a function has a one-to-one relationship if its relation and its inverse are functions. And if you remember back to when we were doing, actually don't know if we did this, vertical line test. So the vertical line test will tell you if something's a function. So if we have, here, let's go to something else. So say you have some graph. That was terrible. That was a little better. So here, vertical line test. Can draw a line down this. It only hits it once, so yes, it's a function. Okay, but what if we had this? Okay, this one, oh, geez, what am I doing? Sorry. So this one, if you have a circle, it hits it twice. If you draw a vertical line, it's going to hit it there and it's going to hit it there. So it does not pass the vertical line test, so this is not a function. Okay, so that's how you tell something's a function. Now, to tell if something's inverse is a function, so say again we just have some xy plane. And we have, let's do this graph. So that's like the sine graph or the cosine graph, whatever you want to. This passes the vertical line test, right? Boom, it only hits it once. So yes, it is a function. So fun. But if we go this way, notice it hits there, there, infinitely many times. So that means the inverse is not a function. Okay, that's what the horizontal line test tells us. So let's go back to this. The horizontal line test is to determine whether the inverse of a relation is a function. And both the relation and its inverse must be a function in order to be one-to-one. So let's look at these and determine if they're one-to-one. So that means they have to pass the horizontal line test and the vertical line test. So that one passes the vertical line, good. Passes the horizontal, so yes, it's one-to-one. This one, I just drew this one, but yes, it passes the horizontal or the vertical line test. It does not pass the horizontal line test, so no, it's not one-to-one. This one, yes, yes, so that one does. Yes, yes, awesome. Yes, no, that one's not. No, so that one's not even a function. Okay? So to find the inverse of a function, it's written as f to the negative first power of x. And to do this, you switch the x and y's, you solve it for y, and then you rewrite the y as f inverse of x. The first step for all of these is to plug it in your calculator, make sure it passes both horizontal and vertical line tests. So 4x minus 8. Plug it in your calculator, you get something like that. That passes both tests, so we're good. Now we're going to switch the x and the y. So f of x is very similar to y. So that's going to be y equals 4x minus 8. Then let's switch our x and y. So you get x equals 4y minus 8 and solve this for y. So add the 8 over, divide by 4. So that means that y equals x plus 8 over 4, which means that that's our inverse. And I should have rewritten this. So that is saying that f inverse of x equals x plus 8 over 4. Okay. Next one, so plug it into your calculator, make sure it passes. So this does not pass the horizontal line test, which means it does not have an inverse. Anytime you see this pesky little squared thing, it is not going to have an inverse. Okay. Next one, that was easy. This one, square root negative square root of x plus 2 minus 7. So there's what that kind of looks like. That does pass it, so let's switch our x and y's and solve for x. So that's going to be x equals negative square root of y plus 2 minus 7. Add the 7 over, divide by negative 1. So that's going to just make those left sides negative. So it'll be negative x minus 7 equals the square root of y plus 2. Square both sides. So you get x minus 7 squared equals y plus 2. Subtract that 2 over. So there is our inverse. And again, I should have written f inverse of x. My bad. Okay. Next one. So here, plug it in. That does pass both of them. Switch our x and our y's. So here, get rid of the fraction first, multiply by 4. So you get 4x equals the cube root of y minus 9. Cube both sides, so you get 4x cubed equals y minus 9. And then add that 9 over. And honestly, either one of these would be fine with me. If you left it here, I wouldn't mark it wrong. Okay, if you go to here, that's probably a little more correct, but basically same thing. Okay? Remember to take the quiz, and I will see you guys tomorrow.